You don't really expect me to talk, do you?
No, Mr. Miller. I expect you to die.
Fine. But first let me tell you about Secret Agent Clank, the latest PSP entry in the Ratchet & Clank series.
About 6 years ago, Ratchet & Clank burst onto the PlayStation 2 landscape and changed the way we think of platformers. Now, High Impact Games and Sony are bringing you Secret Agent Clank, but it's probably not going to go down as one of the franchise's best outings. Secret Agent Clank casts you as Surprise Clank. No longer delegated to the role of sidekick, Clank is strictly on his own here, and he's after the Eye of Infinity. When the game begins, Clank shows up at a museum ready to protect the Eye, but soon finds Ratchet stealing it. Wait a second, Ratchet stealing stuff? That doesn't sound right. This must be a plot twist. In your painted-on tuxedo, you'll journey as Clank through 17 missions and a ton of mini-levels in this game, but it might not be all it's cracked up to be. When you first get your hands on Secret Agent Clank, this thing really spoke to me. It doesn't play like a typical Ratchet & Clank game whatsoever. Whereas in the other outings, you'd run straight into enemies and start blasting things to take them down, Secret Agent Clank actually begins playing like a spy game. What that means is that there's an emphasis on stealth and nifty spy-themed gadgets. A really cool thing about this game is that emphasis they put on stealth. Whenever you sneak by somebody, you get a stealth bonus. You can do stealth takedowns, which means you'd come up behind somebody, a series of 4 buttons would pop up on the screen, you hit them in conjunction, take down the character, and you get double the bolts you usually would for just taking them strictly out. For a lot of Ratchet & Clank fans, this is going to be hard to wrap your head around in the beginning, because as much as it rewards you, it punishes you as well. In the very beginning of the game, Clank's just a small, tiny robot. He's used to being a sidekick, so if he jumps into battle, he's going to get his ass whooped. This means you have to rely on your wits and try to hide or sneak past enemies. There's an awesome mission where you're following the Kingpin and his henchmen through this busy city square. Rather than run up and just take everybody out, Clank has to hang back or use disguises, basically stay out of sight and take out the guards one by one. It really brings home the change in gameplay. Of course, this wouldn't be a Ratchet & Clank game if there weren't crazy items for you to use, and thankfully there are here, except they all have this neat spy theme. As you play through the game, you can purchase these weapons from vendors, but then of course as you use them, you build experience points and upgrade the weapons automatically so they become more and more powerful. One of my favorites is the hollow monocle. Basically, a little piece of glass Clank puts to his eye, and if he can get a clear picture of somebody, he can take their identity, make a hologram out of that person, and move past undetected. If the little bucket of bolts wasn't your favorite character in the game, you do get a few more options to play. This isn't strictly a solo title. You can play as Ratchet. He's in prison, so he's got to fight a bunch of guards and stuff and other inmates. You can play as Captain Quark for the first time ever in the game, actually. Quark is flying around the galaxy with a biographer trying to make up these stories about how great he was. And you also get some time as the Gadgebots, Clank's little mechanical friends that get him out of jams. While those 3 groups might sound like a really big boon for the game, I actually found them to be deterrents to the fun factor of Clank. The Gadgebots mission fit into the storyline fine. Okay, Clank's been incapacitated and I need to use these 3 robots who have specific commands to get around and, pull off puzzles. That's alright, it doesn't matter. But when these Ratchet and Quark missions pop up, they really halt the entire structure of Clank's story. Suddenly I go from playing this nifty little spy mission to jumping into Ratchet's world, which is literally sitting in the middle of an arena and fighting wave after wave of guards. That's all you do is Ratchet. And in the beginning, your weapons aren't that powerful, so this becomes a real bear to try to get through. Quark's missions are funny, don't get me wrong, it's fun to be in a musical where Quark's singing about stopping a leak with his left butt cheek, but still they just completely detract from what Secret Agent Clank was going for. This is supposed to be this spy-themed game, Clank's coming out party, and all of a sudden I'm bogged down with really, really annoying Ratchet missions and fun Quark missions that, just don't fit the theme of the game whatsoever. And don't get me wrong here, I'm not lauding all of Clank's missions. In the beginning, like I said, it was really cool to be the secret agent thing. There's a bunch of nods to Bond films. You're dancing with, the Countess and this tango thing. It really works out well. But the problem is Secret Agent Clank only has a few tricks in its bag, and eventually it starts recycling them one after another, and it really, really tires on you and wears you down. Like I was just saying, the first time I danced with the Countess, it's this rhythm game. I'm tapping buttons, Clank's dancing with her, all this cool stuff's happening on screen. It's nice, it was fun, it made sense. There's a tango in every spy movie. However, then Clank infiltrates this high-stakes poker room, and I'm presented with another rhythm game. This time, the level goes on forever. There's even a Gadgebot break, and then it goes on even longer. It's not fun, it took forever, and I really hated it. Sadly, this gets repeated on a mission-by-mission basis a lot, too. It's almost like the game gives up on its spy thing somewhere in the middle. It's like, okay, here we're doing all this stuff in the beginning, Clank's a spy, it's fun, blah, blah, blah. Here's some Ratchet missions, here's some Clank stuff, we're gonna repeat ourselves, and then, okay, now you're just playing a platformer, do whatever you want. So yeah, coming into the game, obviously Secret Agent Clank had some big boots to fill. There's a lot of great titles in this franchise, so people expect a lot. Sadly, this one didn't deliver. It's not a bad game. It's not a great game. It's just a game that really feels like it could have been any platformer tossed into this spy theme that they give up on it. I mean, that's the biggest problem I have with it. I went into it wanting to be Secret Agent Clank, and by the end, I just felt like I was some robot jumping around throwing bombs.
So is that everything then?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not good, but it's not terrible or anything. You know, it didn't live up to the potential it had.
Maybe a rental?
Yeah, I mean, if, you know, Ratchet and Clank, that's your thing, sure, try it out.
Yeah, cool.